Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In the course of several videos, I have highlighted three distinct ways you can make soy milk at home for all your soy-based recipes. In today's video, we will identify these methods and their pros and cons to help guide you in your soy milk making process. So these opinions are based on my own experience trying out these methods and a few scientific facts. So if you're excited for this video, let's get right into it. Like in all soy milk making processes, the first step begins by soaking the beans. This step generally softens and makes blending the beans easier. Also, by soaking the beans for the recommended time, you allow any harmful compounds present to leach out into the soaking water. The next step is optional, but I love to do this anytime I'm making my soy milk, and this is dehulling. Depending on the method, dehulling may be done before or after boiling, and between the two, boiling makes dehulling much easier. According to this research paper and blog post, dehulling increases the protein content and other important micronutrients in soybeans, providing a more nutritionally rich product. With dehulling, it is almost impossible to achieve 100% results, so taking about 70% of the hulls out will be good enough for the next step. So after this step, decide to proceed to making your soy milk with any of these methods. So there are no special names for any method here, so you just identify them by their individual steps. The first method is the cook blend strain method. Basically, with this method, the soybeans are first cooked, then blended before straining out the milk, and later pasteurized before drinking, but that will totally depend on you. So I actually used this method in this video, which highlighted 3 ways to prevent your soy milk from going bad. If you want to know all about that, make sure to check it out. The good thing about this method is that it is very straightforward and does not make a lot of mess. So like I mentioned in the video, this process can help keep your soy milk from going bad for several days. You only need to keep them refrigerated and they can stay there until you are ready to use them. You can even keep a few of those cooked beans and add to your smoothies to enrich them. Again, the soy milk obtained from this method can actually be frozen for several days without curdling, making it the best method for keeping your soy milk for extended time. The downside to this method is that it does not yield quality soy milk. So from experience, soy milk obtained by this method is light and quite grainy. It doesn't have that grassy soy milk flavor that I personally like and I know others like too. This method also produces more pulp than milk, and the milk here can not be used for other soy-based products like tofu due to how light it is. If you love tofu, then I'm sure you've watched my video on that. In that video, I employed another unique style, which is the blend ball strain method. So here you first blend your soybeans, then boil the milk together with the pulp before straining the milk out. What I like about this method is that you don't have to worry much about your soy milk going bad, since the boiling process helps preserve the milk for a while. Another thing is that the milk produced here is thick and the yield is also good. So mostly for about 2 cups of soy milk, I get about 2.5 liters of milk, which is very reasonable. Scientifically, it has also been proven that this method produces a more nutritionally dense milk than the other methods. The downside to this method is that the process can be quite stressful, especially straining a hot mixture like that, and too much wait time in between the whole process makes it quite tiring. Your milk can also overflow and create a lot of mess, so you always need to keep an eye on it while boiling so it doesn't flow over. Also, frozen milk from this method may lose its texture and taste once stored. The last method, which is the most used in home recipes, is the blend strain and boil method, which I used while making my soy yogurt recipe. Make sure to check that out. So here the soybeans are first blended, then the milk is strained out and later boiled to obtain your delicious soy milk. So the one thing I love about this method is that it is very simple and straightforward. There is no waiting time in between the whole process. So everything is done all at once and you only need to wait for your milk to be done and enjoy. Also, milk yield is very good, just like the second method. Apart from that, your beans can actually go bad or spoil if you don't process it right after soaking. And this happens because during the soaking process, the beans undergoes fermentation, and if this lingers for a while, your milk might actually curdle once exposed to heat. This method also foams so much and so requires a lot of attention when boiling. Another thing is that the milk might also change in texture once it is frozen. So there you have it, the three ways you can make soy milk at home. You know, soy milk is an amazing beverage with lots of nutritional benefits and a unique flavor. And so depending on your situation and preference, you may choose one method over the other. But you know, the result will always be the same. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know which method you mostly use at home in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!